Hi everyone, my name is Steve Lawson.
And my name is Anja Fofana.
Thank you very much for your interest today in learning a bit more about cardiac and body imaging on the SIGNA Artist. So we're here live in our headquarters in Waukesha, Wisconsin. We have some really great things to share with you today about the latest release that we call SIGNAWorks Air IQ Edition. So let's go ahead and jump right into it.
Yeah, let's go ahead, get our volunteers on the table. So, awesome. Just put the hair coil on top of him. See, I don't have to use any additional straps to strap the coil down. We already put the ECG leads on him to save some time. And then we can just go ahead and do our landmarking here with the IntelliTouch. And we can jump right into the scanning session. Okay.
Okay, so Anya and I are here. We're at the console. So we're going to start at the abdomen and then we'll move up to the chest at the end of the scan. So let's go ahead and start this. So this will be a large field of view 3-plane localizer. This coil is quite large, so we're able to get from abdomen to pelvis in a single field of view. Our field of view is 50 centimeters. But it's nice that you can see that, or the ability to move between different exams. So if you're doing an abdomen or pelvis or even a cardiac and liver, you can easily do that.
Yeah, the air coil in total is 65 centimeters. So it really covers most of your patients that you can have the liver and the pelvis in one setup with the coil, which is really, really nice.
That's very helpful.
You can see even on the localizer that we cover the liver until his pubic bone in one field of view.
Yep.
So we have the signal everywhere in the body.
Yep. So we've got a step built in here. It's a task. So after it runs the standard 3-plane localizer, the system will analyze those images and it will place a tracker. It'll find the dome of the liver, and then we're able to use that later for when we do a free breathing technique. So that's exactly what we're going to do now. So this is a Snapshot Scan, which is our new single-shot fast spin echo scan. It's part of SIGNAWorks Air IQ Edition. So this is really nice because you're able to acquire multiple slices every respiration. So where before it was only doing one slice every RR, now you're able to get this in multiple slices. So what that means to you is you're able to do thinner slices, and from that you can use another technique that we'll show in just a second called Air Recon DL to denoise those images. It does a different reconstruction pipeline than conventional reconstructions. So we're able to do thinner slices, get more slices, and then take advantage of that technology as well.
Yeah, Air Recon DL is really a game changer. With Air Recon DL, we first time have a tool in our hand where we can decide what we want to do with the images, really be higher resolution than normal, because we don't have to worry about the signal to noise ratio as in conventional scans, because Air Recon DL is the deep learning which has been trained to remove the noise out of the K-space. So we just remove the noise and keep the signal, which is really, really cool. And with that technique, we are able now to really be high resolution, or if we want to do fast scans, way faster than usual as well. And how do we do that conventionally? When we use Air Recon DL, we can just optimize the protocol and really use higher metric sizes without reading out longer and using more averages. Or when we want to be very, very fast, we can just shut down the scan times with shorten down the averages or accelerate higher.
Yep.
And we have really fast scan times. So
Yep.
ARRI-ConDL is really exciting for us because usually we always keep worrying about signal to noise ratio, but with that technique, we don't have to think about it.
Yes. So in the abdomen particularly, I like doing thinner slices, right? We usually do our lavas at, 4 millimeter slice thickness, and usually the T2s I've seen in the past, like 8 millimeters or 6 millimeters. It's nice to know that you're able to get your T2 weighted images now using ARRI-ConDL down to thinner slices to match your dynamic T1 weighted images. So as you can tell here, these images that are coming up, they're turning out really nice, but these are 3 millimeter slices. And we'll do a comparison in just a minute, but just a kind of a preliminary look here. The noise is not in the images, right? So you're able to do that really nice. This is Snapshot, as I mentioned, T2 single shot. So we're going to run this in an axial plane too. I'm just going to turn FATSAT on, so I'll get a nice T2 weighted scan with fat suppression. Let me do this really quick, and then we'll move on to the next one. When we start thinking about other scans that are in the SIGNA Air IQ edition, we do have the ability to use Hypersense now on our dynamic T1 weighted scans. So that's great because it'll reduce breath hold. So Hypersense is GE's compressed sensing technique. So we can put this on as a 1.2 Hypersense, and we're reducing the scan time by 20 seconds. So for breath hold scans in the liver, like your dynamic T1s, you can do this. So we'll show you that with Hypersense. So this is a Lavaflex Scan. So it's a Dixon technique. You'll get water, fat, in phase, out of phase with this. And I'm just going to set that up. And I want you to notice how large the coverage is here for your 11-second scan. So
we cover everything.
Yes.
Maybe one other thing while this is running, we can look a little bit closer to the navigator window. So maybe we can pull that up one more time when it has been launched. Maybe remove that, that everybody can see it here with our picture. So this is something which I really like about our navigator, since we have the capabilities to manipulate the threshold and the acceptance window while scanning. Because what is real life? Your patient is on the table, he is really excited at the beginning, his breathing is fast, and because he is so scared about the MR image. But now when he is on the table for 2 or 3 minutes and he experienced that it is not as bad as he thought, then usually the breathing pattern will change and the curve will change. And with all techniques, we always had to we always ran into the situation that the scan would go on hold, and we have to neither optimize our parameters again or talk the patient to change the breathing. But here the navigator, you see that we have a threshold, which is the red line, and we do have an acceptance window, which is the yellow line. And if his breathing pattern would change, so the green line would change, you can match the threshold to the new breathing pattern.
Yeah.
So this is really nice feature that you always are able now to continue until the very end with the free breathing.
Yes.
And another thing which I really like about it, as Steve showed in the beginning, you don't have to worry about putting the navigator on the diaphragm. So one more time, it's a software-based solution. You don't have to put any bellows on the patient. You don't have to put the patient over any sensors. You can place him anywhere on the table, and then you just perform your 3-plane localizer at the post-processing task, and then the scanner does the rest.
Yeah.
That's convenient.
Yes. So, we had done set up the lava breath hold with Hypersense. That was only 11 seconds, but you can also do free breathing as well. So this is the free breathing acquisition. So this is a Lavaflex, and navigator is on. So if you notice here, Anya mentioned that the auto placement of the tracker is there. So this is the placement of the tracker, right? We didn't have to graphically prescribe that. We just turn on tracker here in our protocol, and we know that we're going to capture that right there on top of the liver. So this is a free breathing T1. So this is a 21-second acquisition. So still fast enough to capture the dynamics of contrast coming in on this scan. But it's nice 21-second acquisition, so it's still fast enough. And we are also using hypersense as well, so you're able to use this acceleration technique to reduce the scan time. So, if you were to turn that off, you'll notice the scan times go up significantly. So we can do, 1.2 or so to reduce the scan time even more. So
it's really nice to have finally a solution for all your patients who are maybe a little bit older and they cannot hold their breath. Maybe they have hearing aids and they cannot wear them in the MRI scan. And usually you would have been really having issues with doing a dynamic scan and deliver on those patients. But having the navigator sequence available, you can do all of them without hearing aids.
Yeah. So the other scan that we've got is called, new to SIGNA Air IQ edition is Lava Stars, or the STAR application. So you can turn on this to be able to do a completely free breathing. It does not require navigator. So it's a radio fill 3D volume, really insensitive to motion. So this is a longer scan, so it's about a minute for this particular scan, Lava Star. And you would use this for your delayed scans after you've done your dynamic acquisition, seeing the contrast arrival through the liver. Then you can do your high resolution Lava Star, which is a really nice way to do those. And then we thought we would run a couple other scans here. We've got Mrcp as a breath hold. We'll just set this up just to show you what that's like. Let me graphically prescribe this on maybe our Snapshot T2, which I think we can kind of get a preliminary look at this. So those are beautiful. Let's go ahead and graphically prescribe that here on this pancreas. I think we'll see that. My shim volume automatically came up too, which is a nice thing. Just save that in your protocol. Hide my shim. So you can see a little bit there, but I think that turned out great. And we'll go ahead and let's review some of these images here.
And also for the Mrcp, we will use Erico DL, right? Mm-hmm. So again, we have the option to really be high resolution in those scans, and don't worry about the signal because Erico DL will remove the signal. And maybe just like I know we're repeating ourselves, but we are just so happy that this is really a new feature, that it is not a filter, it's like a reconstruction, and it's happening already in the K-space. Mm-hmm.
So these are those scans. Let me go ahead and pull up the, if you wanted to see what it looks like
without Ericon DL?
Without Ericon DL, that's kind of an interesting thing to look at. So let's look at that. Yeah, sorry, that's the axial. Let's look at the coronal.
That's a difference.
It's a big difference here in the sharpness, but also the denoising. Images on the left with DL, images on the right without DL. You always have that feature to be able to see the original data if you wanted to, without DL. Different reconstruction pipeline for those, but get the idea. Let's look at the axials as well. So the axial snapshot with DL will be on the right, and without DL. And whenever you apply these suppression techniques, you tend to see a bit more noise. As you can tell, the images on the right are a lot noisier. Mm-hmm. But we can see this, on the left, we're able to really get great images here with Snapshot T2, and these are very thin slices. So we're doing 4 millimeters here. Probably would not be doing this without this in plane resolution too, right? Without DL. So let's go ahead and run our Mrcp scan.
And that's maybe our experience too, using Ericon DL now for a few months, that whenever we do have like sequences have the tendency to have less signal because they are fat suppressed or inversion recovery technique, that Ericon DL even shows nicer because that helps, since the signal itself is already with, the sequence itself is already with so less signal to really make a nice images.
So here on the left we have the Lavaflex, that's 11-second breath hold. And then on the right, we've got a 21-second breath hold. So in order to get the images on the right that are free breathing, free breathing on the right, 21 seconds. So we were able to get this, entirely without any breathing motion using the navigator. So we're reducing the resolution slightly compared to the other one, but that's okay.
That's okay. Yeah.
It's okay. We got great images, I think. So thin
And
slices.
we cannot inject contrast media here, so when we would have like more T1 contrast in those images, the images would even be more popping up, right?
Mhm. Okay, so I'm going to do a cardiac scan now. I'm going to set up for that.
So without relandmarking, without repositioning the patient, we can just simply move our field of view. Something we call air touch is responsible to make the coil management on our latest software. So what that means is that we have and touch always turned on. You can plug in the coils you might need for the scanning session, and then the scanner will, whenever we run a repair localizer or a new scan somewhere, will make a sensitivity, create a sensitivity map. So we turn on every single element of the scanner itself, and the coil in the field of view do give signal. So and then we know exactly again where the coil elements are, and the system will only turn on what is needed for the scan. Oh, nice. That's a lava star, right?
Yeah, so this on the right is Lava Star. And you can tell, free breathing, high resolution, 1 minute 9 seconds. These have been turning out really nice too. Let's look at the Mrcp scan because we've done that. We can look at that without DLs as well. So let's pull that up. So I think you can appreciate these.
I think you know already which one is an Ericon DL and which one isn't, right?
Yeah. So great results here, sharpness and noise, everything all being reduced with these. So these are really quick, 2D acquisition as a breath hold, but it's much better.
Yeah.
We got normal volunteer on the table that doesn't have dilated bile ducts, so it's but it's a good test actually.
And
right?
also not a prep patient, so we cannot ask our co-workers to drink or eat certain stuff, so they just come here from their desk directly and throw on some scrubs and get scanned. Yeah. So that's maybe why it also looks slightly different.
So we're going to move up to the heart now. We're going to look at, with this particular scan, we're going to do an iDrive, which is just free breathing real time. And we're going to try to find our cardiac planes here by doing this. So what I'm going to do, I'll do a draw line here. Maybe I try to get a short axis view of the, something
Nice.
like this. So I can see this, real time while I'm scanning. And then whenever I like an image I want, I can just click Save Image.
Yeah.
Then I can localize on that later. But maybe I'm going to try to get like a 4-chamber view here and try to go through maybe like this.
And the nice thing is it runs as long as you want it to run, and you can just as often as you want to click the Save Image button, and all these images are available for your localizer later on.
Yeah. So then I'm using this defined scalp place over here on the left. So this is a nice way to do that too. If you ever see any wrap like this, you can swap phase and frequency on the fly too, and just just get that. But that's a good way to do that. So
we save some more images.
Save some more images here. Let me define scalp here again, and then maybe I just rotate around. So that's a pretty good 4-chamber view. I'm going to go with that. I can adjust that, and then it'll update in that viewport while I'm moving the slices around too. So it's a really nice thing to do. Let's go ahead and save a couple of those images just real quickly. I'm going to close that, and I'm going to set up a short axis cine. Just wanted to show you guys the iDrive tool there. Let me pull those in. So I'm just going to OK all here. These are some of the images that we had saved. So just quickly to show you that. Erase the show. Erase that too. Graphically prescribe a shim volume directly on the heart, and then hide the shim, and then I can graphically prescribe my slices.
And the nice thing is that we can put the shim and copy it to the future plane, so you only have to worry about that once, and then you just reuse the shim for all of the other scans.
Yep. So maybe just for the sake of example here, maybe we just run one slice just to show you how we use iDrive there for that. I'm going to run this. So this is a 12-second Fiesta here.
Just a short axis so that you can see the images moving.
And then we've got a double IR here as well that will also be using air recon.
Yeah, maybe also we show only one slice, just that our volunteer doesn't have to hold long the breath.
Yeah. Okay. We'll just do it that way. So those are nice. Bringing air recon DL into cardiac is extremely beneficial. I think these double, triple IRs can be used with air recon DL. But anytime you apply suppression techniques, which you commonly do in cardiac imaging, you tend to lose signal whenever you do that. But air recon DL gives that back. Particularly useful in your late gadolinium enhancements or MDE scans. You can use air recon DL on those too. So, as you mentioned, we can't give gadolinium here in our factory, so maybe it's best that we would show that as some cases we've collected from customers to be able to show you that.
Maybe just run the last sequence here to show the double inversion recovery.
Yep. And let's see, what did we leave off here? So the Mrcp we've looked at everything. As I mentioned, those were Lavaflex, so it's an in phase, out of phase, fat and water. So those are Dixon type scans here. So I can show you those too. So all with hypersense.
So a lot of improvements in the newest and latest software.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of really great things inside of this. Even for cardiac imaging, you can do motion correction on your perfusion scans in cardiac imaging. So there's a lot of great things inside of that.
Awesome.
So our double IR is running now. And then maybe we jump over and
do some image review on real cases.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks awesome. Maybe we should also do the comparison here with the out air recon DL and with air recon DL.
That's a good idea. Let's pull that up.
I think we don't have to tell which one is which.
Yeah.
Wow.
So quite helpful having the boost in signal to noise and the image sharpness and everything that you get from air recon DL.
Awesome.
Much better.
Yeah, let's maybe review some real cases on the AW server.
Sure, let's jump over and do that. Okay, so here is a cardiac exam that was scanned at a clinical site. And this is the perfusion, just so you know what you're looking at. This is the perfusion. This was done with air recon DL. I'll give you an idea of what the first pass looks like, but it's quite sick. But these are the long axis of the left heart without DL on the MDE, and then with DL on the right with MDE, or with air recon DL. We've also got another plane here, so this is another great example. Once again, same patient, but a lot of enhancement here, but the non-DL images look a bit noisy. As I mentioned, these are using suppression techniques to get the myocardium dark. Sometimes you take a little bit of a loss in signal to noise because of those inversion pulses and suppression that's being done, but with air recon DL, not so much of an issue anymore.
Nice.
So that concludes the session for today. We hope that you guys learned a lot about the latest release of SIGNAWorks Air IQ Edition and how it can relate to abdominal imaging and cardiac imaging across our portfolio. Actually, the software is available for 1.5T and 3T systems. So.
Thanks for your attention.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.